Clerk.
Government business, notice number 8, Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission Repeal number 1 Bill 2014.
Now the Minister for Social Services.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I present the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission Repeal number 1 Bill 2014 and the explanatory memorandum.
Clerk.
First reading, a bill for an act to repeal the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission Act 2012 and for related purposes.
The Minister for Social Services.
Mr Deputy Speaker, I move that this bill now be read a second time. Mr Deputy Speaker, this is the first of 2 bills to implement the government's election commitment to repeal the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission. The Commission is established under the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission Act 2012 and commenced operation on the 3rd of December 2012 under legislation introduced by the previous government. An organisation must be registered as a charity by the Commission before it can receive charity tax concessions and other Commonwealth exemptions and benefits from the Australian Taxation Office. However, the process has resulted in increased red tape burden for many organisations. The Commission was established with the intention of it being a single reporting point for charities. However, this has not eventuated. The majority of charities continue to provide information to multiple jurisdictions in the course of conducting their business as charities. Establishing the Commission has introduced new powers in information collection, monitoring and compliance that are not available to Commonwealth bodies with comparable powers in relation to enforcement and removing responsible persons, such as the Australian Taxation Office, the Australian Securities and Investment Commission and the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority. The additional oversight and reporting burdens on the charitable sector are particularly onerous given the absence of harmonisation across all jurisdictions. The majority of the sector, which are unincorporated associations, approximately 21,000 of whom are registered charities, are now subject to this new regulatory regime, whereas they previously fell largely outside the sector's regulatory framework. The large number of incorporated associations, approximately 136,000, around 6,000 of which are charities, are already regulated under relevant state and territory acts, now have duplicated reporting requirements. And charitable trusts accountable to the state attorneys general are now regulated at the Commonwealth level with obligations or compliance activity that they were not subject to previously. Given that the regulators in place before the Commission was established can provide similar regulatory oversight at a lesser cost, both in terms of administrative costs to government and in terms of costs imposed on regulated entities, the introduction of a specialist regulator to monitor and enforce the codification of generally applicable laws has not proven the best use of Commonwealth funding. The government made a clear commitment during the recent election campaign to abolish the Commission. With this bill, we are taking the first step towards implementing this election commitment, and we want to remove the regulatory impost on the sector as soon as possible to ensure that organisations are not reporting unnecessarily. Repealing the Commission will remove unnecessary regulatory control over the civil sector and move instead towards Commonwealth support for the sector to self-manage. The repeal is consistent with the broader deregulation agenda to boost productivity by removing any excessive, unnecessary and overly complex red and green tape imposed on business, community organisations and individuals. Vesting powers in a separate entity to oversee and regulate charities runs counter to the deregulation approach, which takes a risk-based approach to oversight of the institutions of civil society, whether they are for-profit or not-for-profit. This bill will repeal the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission Act 2012, thereby abolishing the Commission. However, this bill will not take effect until the enactment of a later bill which will provide the details of the arrangements replacing the Commission. This two-stage approach allows the government to affirm its intention to repeal the Commission while working through the legislative and administrative issues involved in winding down the Commission's operation and establishing a National Centre for Excellence for Civil Society. This bill allows the Minister to determine, by legislative instrument, a successor agency to deal with certain transitional matters. The bill will provide transitional arrangements for matters such as transferring to the successor agency records held by the Commission, any outstanding Ombudsman investigations and annual reporting requirements. There will be continued protection for information disclosed for the purposes of the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission Act 2012. I commend the bill to the House.
I thank the Minister for Social Services. The debate must now be adjourned. I call the member for Fraser.
Move the debate be adjourned.
Thank the member for Fraser. The question is that the resumption of debate be made an order of the day for the next day of sitting. All those of that opinion say aye. Aye. Against? Carried.